This is In-Depth. These are dangerous times we live. 2 weeks ago, a potential tragedy was averted by local law enforcement officers who were in a critical situation as they pursued Casey White and Vicky White, two Alabama fugitives. It was in the national spotlight and stayed there for days. Tonight, I'm joined by Vanderburgh County Sheriff Dave Wedding and Evansville Police Chief Billy Bullen. Both were at the scene when it all came to an end. And 2 weeks later, after the dust has settled, we're going to take a look at the human aspect of what you saw out there that day and what that one incredible day in Evansville. None of us really saw this coming. First of all, Sheriff, how close did your officers get to that car once it went into that ditch? And those officers did not know there were all those guns in that car.
Well, I think they knew there was weapons in the vehicle based on information they had obtained during the investigation over the course of the week they've been out. First of all, I want to give a lot of congratulations to all the law enforcement that worked on this case, that put their lives on the line, Chief Bullen and other officers. They knew that their lives were at great risk during this pursuit. While I was monitoring the pursuit, I just was waiting for a shootout to begin because I didn't think these people would be taken alive. For them to make the quick decision to ram the vehicle, they ended up pushing them into a ditch, which I think put their bearings off and got them where they couldn't really get their bearings straight. The woman decided to shoot herself, which put her out of commission. The deputies, the Evansville Police Department, State Police, Marshals, they all went to the vehicle and basically calmly got the suspect out along with the person who had shot themselves.
Chief, did that surprise you? I mean, that this all unfolded, it seemed like it unfolded in just, at least from the news cycle, in a matter of just a few hours. First, we learned, oh, wait, they may have been in Evansville a week ago. Oh, wait, they are in Evansville. We have a pursuit. What was your overall take on this when you were out?
It was pretty rapid for myself. I think some of the members of the Marshals Task Force had a little bit of information, but I think they thought that they had moved on. They weren't here anymore. We got a little around noon, first started hearing word of it, but it was my impression that they were gone. And then later in the afternoon when I heard that there was another vehicle involved, it was really quick after that there was a pursuit of that vehicle. So it was pretty rapid that it came about for us, and yeah, it was kind of shocking.
And Casey White, I think we have a video, and this is circulated throughout the nation, of him being led off in handcuffs. If we can roll that control room, we'll take a look at how big this guy was, and local law enforcement there bringing him down. What was your impression of him, Sheriff?
Well, it was amazing how calm and cool he was when they took him from the car. He seemed like he showed no remorse for the woman who had the self-inflicted gunshot wound. He didn't seem excited. He talked candidly to everyone on scene and further with the investigators from our office and the FBI. So it was kind of odd that he was so candid and just so calm and collected during this crazy time.
And this was a situation where obviously law enforcement was relying on tips, and the car wash operator, quite a character, Chief Bullen. How would you describe him? How did he strike you?
You know, I never met him. I just saw some of the news clips. You know, I think we wouldn't have been able to solve this had we not had that original truck. I think it was more kind of luck that it came about. I don't think that there was a planned that this was connected to Alabama. It was just a truck that was left there. And then a week later, when the marshals down in Alabama put this together and notified our marshals up here, that's when it really started unfolding and they learned who it belonged to.
And Sheriff, we've seen a lot of police chases involving all types of law enforcement, state police, sheriff's offices, and city police departments. I can't remember if we can roll the video of this, the tail end of this pursuit that was ended behind Anchor Industries, and you're seeing vehicles here just charging through the parking lot. They're trying to avoid landscaping. and just doing everything they can. And the car ends up in a ditch, as we saw there. Are we seeing more cases where there are pursuits, where people are just getting ready to hit the gas and take off? It seems like we hear so much of that on the police scanner every night.
Yeah, it's not unusual for the sheriff's office and certainly our drug enforcement task forces and our marshal task force to be involved in several pursuits each week. Being on the Kentucky-Indiana border, oftentimes criminals try to flee across the Ohio River Bridge, thinking that they're safe once they cross the state lines. And where they're wrong, our task force has authority outside the state of Indiana, and we will pursue them outside of our state. Oftentimes criminals think if they get through Kentucky, they're free. And they put a lot of people's lives at risk, so we have to monitor them very closely. If we think the risk is greater than the reward, then we call the pursuit off. But we will certainly pursue somebody that we suspect has committed a felony, and we need to stop them.
And Chief, we'll go back to that video. I think we've already shown it. I've got a monitor right over here that it seemed almost eerily surreal when that car was in the ditch there behind Anchor Industries. But where the danger was here, not only law enforcement officers, but there were the employees of Anchor Industries who naturally would want to wander outside, not knowing the full extent of this. What do you say to that?
You know, I think that's human nature on almost any run. The sheriff and I could both tell you of numerous times we've had highly stressful, dangerous situations, but people are coming out of their houses, people are pulling over, and it's never a good idea to come out to a scene if you don't know what's going on. So I get it, it's human nature, you want to see it, but the best course of action is always to stay within your own house or your own vehicle or your work, and not come out and try to see what's going on, because you never know. It could be somebody getting ready to get in a shootout or something highly dangerous.
Okay, I've got the clock running against me right now. I'm just going to ask one thing. What have you learned from all this? And if there's anything, we were talking in the newsroom, you know, you think you've seen it all, but you haven't.
Well, that's correct. In my 42 years in law enforcement, these types of situations were pretty rare. But I'm seeing more and more violent and volatile situations occur on a more frequent basis. So it's startling. I just hope that people in our community understand that law enforcement have a dangerous jobs, and sometimes they may not understand our actions while we're trying to pursue somebody or put somebody in custody, but we're under a lot of tension and pressure, and sometimes we have to make quick decisions that people don't understand. I hope they support our decisions.
And they are split-second decisions, and who would know when that door was open what you were going to be facing?
Yep.
So, well, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and stay safe, Sheriff Dave Wedding and Evansville Police Chief Billy Bullen. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us, bro.
This is In Depth. You're watching Eyewitness News at 1.